Hello, this is Mark Mitchell. I just wanted to make a quick video for exam 3 and just some of the review questions that might be of interest to you before you take your exam. Again, these are for chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. But I have several questions here I'd like to share with you, and then you can follow along and see how many of these you already got correct. Alright, so number one, when historically did the sociological analysis of class and inequality begin? Is it A, the 1800s, B, the 1800s and early 1900s, C, the first 3 decades of the 1900s, or the mid-20th century? So what our book, of course, would argue is that the study of this inequality really hasn't been going on all that long. The answers here cover a pretty good range, but it is definitely talking about financial stuff and inequality and why there's so much difference in the world. But actually the best alternative of these three is actually the letter B, the answer, the late 1800s and the early 1900s. So the others are a little too short, but your best answer of A, B, C, and D, and number 1 is B. Alright, number 2, which of the following theories state that inequality is the result of powerful nations exploring less powerful nations? And this is a good example of a vocabulary term question. Again, reading is very important. And I'll give you just a second to think over the options. Your choices are A, world systems analysis. That's a term from Emanuel Wallerstein that the book presented. B, dependency theory, C, modernization theory, or D, neo-colonial theory. So which of the following states that inequality is the result of powerful nations exploring, or exploiting, I guess rather would be a better word, less powerful nations? And so, of course, the best answer option is C, modernization theory. Number 3, which of the following conditions is necessary for effective reduction of prejudice according to Gordon Allport's contact hypothesis? So again, straight from the textbook, if you remember that contact hypothesis, you remember that is a way to reduce prejudice. And again, the theorist behind it is Gordon Allport. He's also a psychologist. But what's the correct answer? Is it A, contact needs to be monitored by authorities? Is it B, contact needs to occur on a college campus? Is it C, contact groups need to be of unequal standing so they can learn from one another? Or contact needs to be sustained in order to reduce prejudice? And the correct answer there is definitely going to be the last option, D. Contact needs to be sustained in order for prejudice to be reduced. 4, which of the following statements is true regarding intermarriage? Is it A, younger people are more likely to intermarry than older generations? B, immigrants are more likely to intermarry? C, Asian men are more likely to intermarry than Asian women? Or D, black women are more likely to intermarry than black men? So again, it's a more difficult question if you're not familiar with the textbook. But there's lots of graphs and charts in there, always in the chapters. But definitely, if you've read, you will recognize that A is your correct answer. Younger people are more likely to intermarry than older generations. Or you might be just a good guesser and able to get it that way. Okay, so number 5 is next. I got a few on here. The exam is rather lengthy, so I wanted to again go over some of these and help you on your exam so that you can, of course, not run out of time. Number 5, which statement accurately describes the foreign-born population in the United States as of 2012? Alright, the answer options are between 1970 and 2012, the percentage of foreign-born people has decreased. B, the number of people who are foreign-born has reached unprecedented levels. And C, the number of foreign-born people has stayed relatively stable from 1970 to 2012. Or is it D, the percentage of foreign-born is higher than it was in the 1850s? Again, there's a nice graph in the book that really illustrates this well. But again, give you just a second to think of your answer. So again, it goes along really with what's there. If you've read, it's not a surprise, but B is the best answer of the options. The number of people who are foreign-born has reached unprecedented levels and definitely about as high as it's been in the United States, again, according to that chart. Okay, number 6. Which of the following statements is accurate according to the one-drop rule? How you classify people in their racial and ethnic categories. Is it A, someone with a white mother and black father would also be considered black? Is it B, someone with a white mother and black father would be considered white? C, someone who is of mixed ancestry would be considered white? Or is it D, someone who is mixed race would be considered mulatto? Alright, and so the one-drop rule, the best answer by far on number 6 is definitely A, someone with a white mother and a black father would also be considered black. That is really a great example of the one-drop rule. Number 7, Alex believes that people who are poor and lazy do not want to work. He argues that anyone can be rich if they simply work hard enough. What concept, what term reflects the argument that is being made by Alex? Is it A, singularity? Is it B, individualism? Is it C, equal opportunity? Or D, meritocracy? And so this, again, is one of those vocabulary kind of straightforward type questions. And again, if you have read, then it's going to be one of those ones that really don't take a lot of time, and then you can move on to others that take a little bit more thinking process. But the answer to number 7 is meritocracy, or the letter D. Alright, number 8, according to John Huber, what historical culture supported the creation of patriarchal societies? Societies that are headed by men. Is it A, hunting and gathering societies? Is it B, industrial societies? Is it C, postmodern societies? Or is it D, agricultural societies? Now remember, one of the key aspects of a patriarchal society is where men have the power and the money, or the wealth, or, whatever's considered valuable. So A is not correct because there's really no difference between men and women in terms of their wealth or money, because nobody in a hunting and gathering society really has anything. It's just barely getting by. Now the other societies do have a difference in wealth, so those are all viable options. But the one where we start to see patriarchies develop in the world and world history would be with D. D comes before both B and C. So D is your best answer there, according to Joan Huber and her thoughts about what type of culture actually supports the patriarchy. Alright, so number 9, in the United States today, how do women's earnings compare to men's? So is it women earn 70% of what men do? That's option A. Option B, do they earn 80% of what men do? And D, C is women's earnings are finally equal to men's. And D, women earn about 90% of what men do. So again, from the book and what has been discussed in class, there's at least 3 good options up there, or attractive options. But the best answer there is B. It's about 80%. So there's a lot of course, if you do a Google search, you'll find lots of numbers too, but it might be close to that A answer, but the real correct answer is about B. Alright, sometimes women do earn about the same, but overall, our best answer here is B. 10. Which of the following describes a part of Karl Marx's view of religion? Is it A, religion serves to unify people into a collective whole? Is it B, religious symbols help to differentiate one religion from another? C, religion offers true comfort and hope to people in their time of need? Or D, religion serves the interest of the ruling class? Now remember, Karl Marx is really kind of anti-religion because it doesn't lead to revolution. So he's really not going to care about any positive functions when it comes to religion. But Karl Marx sees religion as something that would be the best answer here would be D. Religion serves the interest of the ruling class, and so those who are not of the ruling class would not revolt. Marx is interested in revolution. So that's one of his big complaints against religion. Alright, 2 more and then this video will be over. Hope it helps you. 11. Approximately what percentage of the U.S. population is not affiliated with any religion? Is it A, 19%? Is it B, less than 5%? Is it C, 9%? Or D, 23%? Now, this might seem a little odd, but of course our textbook argues that 84%, and I've seen others that go as high as 90% of the world is religious. Now I know this question mentions the U.S. population, but there's, again, the United States seems to be a highly religious place compared to the world. Now, whether you do anything or not that supports your religion is another question. But here in number 11, the answer is, believe it or not, it is D, 23%. So a lot of people today just don't have or don't state that they have a specific religion. Maybe that's a big change from in the past history of the United States. So who knows what's looming in the future. Finally, number 12, approximately what percentage of marriages in the United States are interracial or interethnic, either between races or between ethnicities? Is it A, 17%? Is it B, 8%? C, 4%? Or D, 11%? And again, these numbers are, it'd be a hard question to know, but if you have read or some kind of study method, you will realize that the correct answer is B, 8%. Okay, so hopefully you can watch this video before you take the exam. Also review your quiz and then try your best. Have a good day. Thank you.